The NBA season is almost upon us, with the preseason starting in just over a week, and the actual NBA season starting in about 20 days from now. It's coming up on us scarily quickly. One of the many awards handed out in an NBA season is the Most Improved Player, and it's always fun to predict which guys will take the biggest step for the next season. That's what I'll be looking at in today's video. 5 NBA players who I believe will break out in 2021. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that all being said, let's get right into this top 5. Number 5. Jaren Jackson Jr, Memphis Grizzlies. The first player I have on this list is Jaren Jackson. Jackson had a really good sophomore year alongside his new teammate Jamal Morant, averaging 17.4 points on great efficiency, 47% from the field and 38% from 3. However, yet again, he was slightly hindered due to little injuries throughout the year, which stopped him from reaching his full potential, restricting him to about 28 minutes per game. Next season though, once again hoping he remains injury-free, I believe he can become an all-star level player and average 21 or 22 points or even higher than that per night. With an increased role, he was likely meant to get this past season. The fit between him and Morant is amazing. They're a duo with a lot of potential, and we saw just how good the Grizzlies were this past season, nearly even making the playoffs, which was completely unexpected prior. What I basically am saying here about Jackson is that he probably should have broken out in 2020, but with his injuries holding him back, it was hard for him to fully emerge like his rookie season promised. It would not surprise me at all if after such a long off-season for him personally, he breaks out instantly in 2021. With Valanciunas remaining by his side, Morant continuing to get better, and his major improvements in his shot we saw this season, it's not hard to imagine Jackson getting more minutes in 2021. That allows him to get the extra opportunities he needs to evolve into the star big man Memphis have been searching for. This is quickly becoming an exciting era for Memphis, and there is no doubt that Jaren Jackson Jr will be a part of that. Number 4. Deandre Ayton, Phoenix Suns. Deandre Ayton has been a solid NBA player in his short career so far, but fully expect him to take a big step next season. The Phoenix Suns have recently traded for Chris Paul, who is a well-known elevator of big men like Ayton, and there's stats to prove that. David West averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds a game with CP3, and then without him in Indiana, averaged 14 and 7. DeAndre Jordan is another example, averaging 10 and 12 with CP3, as well as making many All-NBA teams somehow, simply because Paul elevated his game a ton. Since Paul left the Clippers and Jordan moved on, he's averaged about 8 points and 9 boards a game. That just shows how impactful Paul is with an inside dominant big man like DeAndre Ayton, and how deadly a pick and roll between those guys are. Ayton's already been averaging 18 points per game and 11.5 rebounds a night, and has shown his crazy potential when he gets an increase in shots per game. So just imagine what he could do with Chris Paul, a big upgrade over guys like Ricky Rubio, who he's had to deal with in the past. I don't think it's that hard to imagine Ayton averaging over 20 points a game next season, and becoming more heavily utilized in the Suns' offense. The Booker-CP3 duo is an exciting prospect for sure, but personally, the Ayton-Paul one is more intriguing. The evidence shows how uplifting Paul is for a player of Ayton's nature, an interior big man. So after a fantastic individual season for himself already, it's amazing to think of the even bigger growth we could see out of Ayton in 2021. Again, expect a big year from DeAndre Ayton in 2021. Chris Paul knows how to maximize the potential of teams he joins. We saw it in OKC, so with an even better young squad in Phoenix, it's not hard to imagine this team being one of the bigger underdogs next year. A core of Booker, Ayton and Paul is a scary sight, and one a lot of teams will have to heavily plan for next season. Number 3. De'Aaron Fox, Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox has been in the league for 3 seasons now and has made notable improvements for every passing season. However, the roster around him hasn't been great, and it's caused the Kings to continue to be a below average team and has really hurt his ability to reach his maximum potential. Fox is very good for a young guard, but definitely has the potential to be an even better player than he currently is. This past season, he averaged 21 points and 7 assists, but shot very poorly, particularly from deep, having an 8% drop-off in 3-point percentage. With that said though, I believe Fox is a great chance at breaking out next season, and that's thanks to the Kings draft selection of Tyrese Haliburton. The pairing of the two is very exciting to me, and I believe they can bring the best out in each other. As for Fox, since he's the main focus here, he'll now have a legitimate secondary ball handler behind him to relieve a lot of pressure of the playmaking duties that he's had these past couple seasons. It also allows him to develop his off-ball game, which can be elite with his athleticism. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to maximize this part of his game with such a large role offensively as really the only respectable guard on Sacramento, particularly last season. Haliburton is also a great 3-point shooter, so it gives Fox more options offensively to look for. Overall, I think Fox taking a big step next season is probably the boldest on this list, and after a pretty dismal offseason from the Kings, it may throw this idea out of the window. However, the draft selection of Haliburton is a silver lining for him, and I truly believe he can elevate his game beside him. I'm putting some pretty high expectations on Fox for next season. I believe he can average 25 points per game and 8 to 9 assists, and with that, he'll be a good case for the Most Improved Player award, even with no All-Star appearance due to the stacked Western Conference that he is in. Number 2. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets. Technically, we've already seen the breakout of Jamal Murray during last season's playoffs, where he went on a ridiculous tear to take Denver to the Western Conference Finals. That included 2 3-1 comebacks and multiple 40 and 50 point performances, which will go down in history as some of the greatest battles ever. However, Murray hasn't ever become a true star in the regular season, which is why he's still eligible for the Most Improved Player award. During last year's regular season, Murray had almost identical averages to his 2018-19 campaign, and only averaged 18 points a night for the whole season. As we all know though, that was upped to 26 per game in the playoffs. Perhaps he was a beneficiary of a neutral environment in the bubble, and with the state the USA is currently in, I don't think it's likely we see many fans in arenas anytime soon. So if for some reason Murray only plays well in the quieter gyms, then it shouldn't be a surprise if we see him leap into the all-star form he flashed to us in the playoffs. Even if there are fans though, I wouldn't put it past Murray to break out and continue this hot streak from the playoffs. The talent he was showing off throughout September was simply amazing, and it was consistent for long enough to really say that he's truly taken the next step. It's not like a short-lived burst like TJ Warren had. If I had to put money down, Jamal Murray is the safest bet for Most Improved Player next season. We've already seen the improvements he's made. It's just up to Murray to continue it into the regular season. I have a lot of confidence that he will, especially with the ever-improving Nikola Jokic by his side. Number 1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City Thunder. Gilgeous-Alexander has to be my favorite to win the Most Improved Player next season. The opportunities he's going to get in OKC is insane. Last season, he was in a clustered backcourt with Chris Paul and Dennis Schroeder, yet even with all those quality ball-dominant guards around him, he still made it work and broke out. Many thought that before the season started, that SGA's development could be hindered in OKC, due to them having so many guards, but it ended up working in his favor, as he learned a ton off of the vets in Chris Paul and Schroeder and upped his averages from 10 to 19 points per game, and he shot just as efficiently as his rookie season too. The reason why I say this is because even with the crazy depth of the backcourt last season, Shai still found a way to be impactful on the court, and he was able to develop really well, which again allowed him to be a candidate for the most improved player. But now, with those players out of the picture, it's crazy to imagine just how much more he can improve. He's got even more control of the offense now, and OKC lack a lot of depth after all the trades they made this offseason for draft picks, so it's likely a lot of weight of the offense will be on his shoulders. His usage rate is going to go through the roof, which means that Alexander's shots are likely to go up, and in turn, his points per game, assists, and rebounds probably too will go up as well. I'm expecting a huge statistical outburst from him in 2021. If I had to predict, I'd say 25 points per game is a fair estimate of what SGA could possibly average next season, with all of this freedom in OKC. Sure, the Thunder aren't going to be very good next season and probably will be the worst team in the West, but Alexander is going to make them fun, and it seems he's going to be their number one guy for many seasons to come. The Thunder are handing Shai all the keys to the offense, and I wouldn't put it past him to make the most of that opportunity, which is why I have him as my most improved player for 2021. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? Do you agree with this list? Who do you have winning the most improved player next season? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.
Hey, Mobs, that sounds wavy.